won't stop till I hear him say,
Alrighty, what is going on, CYPRX advanced YouTubers? Welcome back to the CYPRX YouTube page. As always, if you're interested in learning about cryptocurrencies, commodities, indices, foreign exchange, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I apologize right now if my voice sounds a little bit low. I actually have coronavirus right now, so I am kind of recovering from that. My throat is kind of distraught at the moment. However, I'm pushing on. I'm making content for you guys in today's video breakdown. We are going to go over something very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Gary Gensler, okay, testify in front of Congress just recently yesterday. I watched the whole entire thing. It's about 2.5 hours long, the whole entire testification of Gary Gensler. If you guys want to go ahead and watch that, I will link it in the description down below this video, but I have some video snippets of him and then also Brad Garlinghouse. Again, ladies and gentlemen, manipulation at its finest. I'm going to show you all some documents that I posted to you all on Twitter, give you guys an interesting perspective. Remember, I am not a financial advisor. I highly advise that you all take it upon yourself to do your own research. Remember, Google is at your fingertips, ladies and gentlemen. It is not hard to do some intuitive research. Stop taking price predictions off of the internet. Judge and base your own bias in this market based off of what information is provided to you, based off of your own personal research. I understand if you guys are watching these influencers, if you're watching these people that provide valuable information like myself here, I know that there's other YouTube channels that cover this type of stuff. However, again, you all as investors in this market space need to take it upon yourself to do your own research. Don't just take somebody else's word for it. Go and solidify the things that I'm showing you. Go and solidify some of the other things that these influencers are showing you, so that way you not only wake yourself up, but you can wake up individuals around you with research that you've actually physically done. So in today's video breakdown, we're going to play some videos for you all. Again, have an open mind perspective. I'm going to take some things into accountability, asking you all this question to start off, showing you guys some documents that I have for you all displayed on Twitter in the past. Again, base your own decision. I'm not a financial advisor. I know what it is that I'm doing in the market. Make sure that you guys know what you're doing in the market. So right here, I said on September 15th, think about this. If XRP is labeled a security, which makes no sense at all, every business and bank doing business with Ripple that uses XRP would have to completely change every document and PDF that they've ever put into business practice and immediately stop using XRP. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not happening, okay? We come over here and I said, the SEC versus Ripple case cannot go on for forever. The truth always reveals itself. Insane how no one else but the 70,000 plus XRP holders noticed the SEC's obvious corruption. How is it not obvious to Congress something fishy is going on here? And why have they done nothing about it? Hashtag XRP. Something I find interesting is that all over the world, XRP is already declared and documented as a currency, which should solidify that this SEC case was a smokescreen used as a tool to shake out retail investors while the financial players test the technology behind the scenes and get in at a discounted price. 7 years in this market, I'm well connected, a living example that you can rise from having absolutely nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, then I want to take your attention over here. And I said, oh, my friends, the rabbit hole goes so deep, where I'd mentioned to you all that many places have already labeled it a currency. And for the SEC to label it a security would completely have to revamp every single business practice document that has already been put into place. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not happening. So I said right here, posted a little picture. Japan, Singapore, the UK, Switzerland, and the UAE have all declared XRP to be a non-security. XRP is declared a non-security according to Japan's financial service agency. SBI, a Japanese corporation, has an esports team and pays its players in the digital asset XRP. In this instance, XRP is utilized as a payroll currency. Coming over here to another tweet, the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, has an entire PDF mentioning XRP as a currency. And I said, probably nothing, LOL. We come down here to the document and it says, there are currently two basic models of decentralized virtual currency payments. Pay attention to this word right here, ladies and gentlemen, because when I play the snippet video of you all where Gary Gensler testified in front of Congress, this word decentralization plays a massive role. So keep this vocabulary word in mind. But the basic models of decentralized virtual currency payment mechanisms, single currencies, aka specific VC networks like Bitcoin, and currency agnostic VC networks like Ripple and Ethereum, as the name implies, a single currency payments network handles a given type of decentralized virtual currency. Currency agnostic payment platforms provide a platform for transacting in any virtual currency or any other tradable value, such as commodities, stocks, real estate, etc. For an explanation of how a currency agnostic VC platform operates, the Ripple protocol, specifically mentioning the Ripple protocol, a deep dive for financial professionals available, and it mentions a link. The citation is provided for information purposefully only and does not represent a FATF endorsement of Ripple or any other VC and PPSs. So it's interesting that they said that this doesn't represent an endorsement of Ripple because they knew that the SEC was going to sue Ripple. So they mentioned this as a safety. Okay, right here, this last sentence is just interesting. To carry on, we come over here and it says, apart from the initial creation and issuance of Ripple coins, Ripple operates as a decentralized virtual currency. Again, pay attention, decentralized virtual currency. Ripple's founders created all 100 billion Ripple coins and retained 20 billion of them, with the remainder to be distributed by a separate entity, Ripple Labs. However, all transactions are verified by a decentralized computer network using Ripple's open source protocol and are recorded in a shared ledger that is a constantly updated database of Ripple accounts and transactions. We'll come over here to another document. And this one was very interesting. I will link this one in the description down below. This tweet says, if this doesn't prove a corrupt organization has overstepped its boundaries, then I don't know what else will. The SEC 1 year ago had traded XRP. The next year comes around and they switch and say, everyone except us is doing something illegal. So this document states right here. And if you haven't seen this yet, again, like I said, I will link all these documents in the description down below. And it says, this evidence provides strong corroboration of the defendant's defense in this case and undermines the SEC's claims. Specifically, the acknowledged fact that the SEC itself did not restrict its own employees from selling or buying XRP, notwithstanding its long-standing regulation against its employees engaging in securities transactions without clearance, indicates that the SEC had not concluded prior to at least January 2018 that the sales and offers of XRP were security transactions. Describing the SEC's pre-clearance requirement effective as of August 19th, that fact undermines the SEC's allegations that the individual defendants were reckless in failing to determine as early as 2013 that offers and sales of XRP were securities. Likewise, it supports Ripple's fair notice defense that the SEC itself had not concluded that the sales of XRP and offers of XRP were transactions in securities, and is evidence that the market participants lacked the requisite fair notice that XRP later would be deemed a security. Boom. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the devil's in the details. Do your research. Coming over here, we're coming to the end of these tweet streams. I said breaking. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency labels XRP a fiat currency in an official PDF on occ.gov.com. We see right here, obviously, of course, the stamp of Office of the Comptroller. You guys can go check this out. And it says, in contrast, XRP, the native currency of Ripple, is effectively a fiat currency. At its inception, Ripple's Labs created 100 billion units of XRP, 20 billion of which were retained by the creators, who are also the founders of Ripple Labs. Back to what I said, ladies and gentlemen, every single PDF and website that has been put into business practice would immediately have to stop using XRP and change their documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. That is not happening. We come over here to another article, and I said the rabbit hole goes so deep. This is from the official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum. We come over here, and it says, there's a strong case for moving cross-border flows away from correspondent banks using costly commercial credit to payments using high-quality liquid assets secured by central bank reserve funds. This alternative technology exists using bilateral atomic settlement to execute instantaneous wholesale cross-border payment transactions between parties in different jurisdictions. Now, pay attention because it says this alternative technology already exists, and it mentions using bilateral atomic settlements. Okay, coming over here, what do we see on that same website, same platform? It says Ripple is an innovative solution to the ways we pay. Okay. And then also down at the bottom, it has Ripple's address. Interesting enough to say the least, but we come over here to continue this article. It says, Ripple features a ledger that bilaterally, again, there's that word, clears and settles payments between banks and payment systems instantaneously. Unlike today's network, which typically relies on a central counterparty for executing and confirming transactions, Ripple transactions are cleared via consensus, a process native to Ripple by which a collection of authorized counterparties validate transactions through a distributed network. Okay, so coming over here, last two tweets, we see I said to you all, be patient XRP holders. What you believe about the universe begins with the sensory information available to you through your neurological filters. It's not hard to tap in. People still choose to blindside themselves from the ashes. XRP will rise. We come over here. International Monetary Fund PDF, United States Financial Sector Assessment Program. Technical note on the supervision of a financial market infrastructure, resilience of central counterparties, and innovative technologies. Again, we know how deep-rooted that Ripple is with the IMF. I've showed you guys in previous videos. Brad Garlinghouse having closed-door meetings and actually mentioning that he is not allowed to say things to the general public based off of his closed-door meetings, that his Ripple team has even yelled at him for having these closed-door meetings.
So my prediction, about 1 year ago, I actually was here at the Singapore FinTech Festival, and I got in trouble when I went back to the office because the PR team said I had overstepped by predicting that within a year, I predicted that financial institutions like banks would be using XRP in their payment flows. And that was a year ago that I made that prediction, and I go back to the office and everybody's like, Brad, you're not allowed to say things like that. It turns out I was right. So my prediction about would be using XRP in their payment flows. And that was a year ago that I made that prediction, and I go back to the office and everybody's like, Brad, you're not allowed to say things like that. Brad, you're not allowed to say things like that. It turns out I was right.
But we see down here, every payment network pretty much is mentioned. And if we scroll right down here to the bottom, what is highlighted, ladies and gentlemen? RippleNet. We see Chips, WorldWire, Censure, Fedwire funds. All right, going back over here, what else do we see? Interbank transactions via the FX market. We see money remittances, real-time payments, card payments, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, right? FedNow, okay? RTP, ACH, TCH, Federal Reserve Clearing, checking clearings. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this stuff up, all right? And then coming over here, last but not least, I'd just like to leave you all with this. A big mental physical shift is coming in this market. CYPRX will be at the forefront of the spread of information. Ladies and gentlemen, the deep intuitive research and the mentors that I have here at CYPRX backing all of this information. Again, believe what you want to believe in, but I highly advise that you all do your own personal research. I'll leave you all with that. Let's jump into these video displays of Gary Gensler testifying in front of Congress, and then some things that Brad Garlinghouse says to correlate and prove to you all that this is all a manipulative scheme in order to push regulatory clarity onto the market and give XRP the chosen cryptocurrency to bridge all the world's assets to one, clarity. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen, the proof is in the pudding. I hope that you all enjoy this video breakdown. Smash that thumbs up button. Let's jump into these video snippets. As always, I will see you guys on the next video breakdown. I will leave you guys with this video display.
Ranking member Toomey. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Gensler, in your written statement, you acknowledged, as you have in the past, that there are some tokens that are not securities. And I know your view that whether or not a digital asset is a security is a facts and circumstances analysis. I know your view that the SEC has very broad authority. But you've also made it clear in the past that Bitcoin is not a security. Now, some SEC staff have also previously said that Ethereum is not a security. The SEC's Dow report characterizes Ethereum as decentralized. So here's my question briefly, without getting deep into the weeds on it. The SEC's Dow, I know your view that the SEC has very broad authority, but you've also made it clear in the past that Bitcoin is not a security. Now, some SEC staff have also previously said that Ethereum is not a security. The SEC's Dow report characterizes Ethereum as decentralized. So here's my question briefly, without getting deep into the weeds on this, and I acknowledge your belief that most tokens have a large degree of central control. But generally speaking, is it fair to say that a significant factor for you in whether or not a digital asset is a security is whether it is centrally controlled or decentralized?
Well, I look to the Supreme Court that's often written about this, probably close to a dozen times in 50 years, and it's whether the investing public is anticipating profits, and that includes anticipating profits from appreciation as well as from, as you mentioned, rights, based upon a common enterprise, but the efforts of that common enterprise.
Right. So I guess another way to put my question, which you haven't answered, is it possible to have a common enterprise if it's something is decentralized? How can you have a common enterprise? I mean, it doesn't centralize. Isn't centralization necessary to constitute a common enterprise?
You could have some things that are quite open, but still have, if the public is anticipating a profit based upon that common enterprise. So I'm being careful with my words here to be accurate as best I can. The common enterprise, are you relying on a group of individuals? And look, these are not laundromat tokens. There is a group of people that are actually—
You're not answering my question, though. So let me try it this way. What is it about Bitcoin that causes you to conclude it is not a security?
Well, one is there's no group of individuals in the middle.
Right, it's
there's no
decentralized.
group of individuals in the middle.
Right.
One is there's no group of individuals in the middle.
Right, it's
there's no
decentralized.
group of individuals in the middle.
Right.
That are basically, and you're not, in essence, the investing public's not betting on somebody in the middle or six people in the middle.
So you're choosing not to use the term decentralized, but that's what you're describing. It is the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, I think, is really what you're getting at. Here's my point, and I'm going to run out of time here, but there are a lot of projects, as you know, that, I mean, decentralization and centralization occurs on a continuum, really, I think. And you've acknowledged that there are tokens, plural, that are not securities. I think it's because of decentralization that you come to this conclusion. And my point is, it is not reasonable to fail to provide clarity, to provide the definition of exactly where on this continuum you have a sufficient common enterprise that it qualifies as a security and where you don't. You've said Bitcoin doesn't. Some of your colleagues have said Ethereum doesn't. But a reasonable developer who wants to comply with this doesn't know where that line is drawn.
So I think where we might have a difference is there are many factors. And so it's not one spectrum of centralization versus decentralization. What the Supreme Court, and I try to stick to, they're the Supreme Court. And there'll be debates about other laws. I try to stick to what they say, a common enterprise. I think about a group of individuals in the middle. That developer is in the middle and the investing public's betting on them, counting on them, even if the token might be on 1,000 computers. That's not what the Supreme Court's looking at. It's not about the token being on 1,000 computers. It's just like a group of developers in the middle.
If there is nobody controlling it in the middle, that's what we call decentralized, and that does happen. As you know, of course, the Howey test requires all four of the tests to be met in order for something to be defined as a security. Let me move on to another related issue, which is, as I said in my.
It was not personally involved as a small investor.
And now we still see the lawsuit of CSE against Ripple, and you made some comment that it's going quite well. Can you tell more about this, about the progress?
Well, look, I think no one is excited to have a lawsuit brought upon you by a government agency. But I think as time has gone by, people have realized that what we have been saying for a long time, that the laws in the United States have not been clear. And to use a 1946 Supreme Court case that we call the Howey test to try to provide clarity about whether or not crypto assets are securities, I think really stretches the Howey test beyond recognition. It's my firm belief that we, Ripple, are really working to help support the entire crypto industry with this lawsuit with the United States SEC. The good news is outside the United States, it's my firm belief that we, Ripple, are really working to help support the entire crypto industry with this lawsuit with the United States SEC. The good news is outside the United
SEC official who basically said Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities. He focused a lot on decentralization. That's apparently the key thing, that no one's controlling it, so no central actor, no third party. Now I want to read you, he didn't bring up Ripple, but I want to read you something. This is what he said. There will continue to be systems that rely on central actors whose efforts are a key to the success of the enterprise. Doesn't that sound a lot like Ripple and XRP?
I think it sounds a lot like the ICO market. I think, these ICOs are issuing tokens. They haven't even released any code. There's no working code. And, there's no open source community developing that code. And so they're releasing tokens, and those are effectively what I think the SEC is saying. They've really said for a year now. They're just getting a little more aggressive about it. They're saying these are securities. I think it's really clear that XRP is not a security. And I'll give you three key arguments here. One is, if Ripple, the company, shut down tomorrow, the XRP ledger would continue to operate. It's open source, decentralized technology that exists independent of Ripple. The second is, if you buy XRP, if people buy an XRP, they don't think they're buying shares of Ripple. There's a company called Ripple. We are a private company. We have investors. People have bought shares of Ripple, the company, but you buying XRP doesn't give you ownership of Ripple. It doesn't give you access to dividends or profits that may come from Ripple. So I think there's a whole lot of examples where XRP behaves and acts a lot more like a currency, like a commodity. The third point, if the first one is it exists independently. The second one is it's the ownership point. And the third one really back to utility. XRP is solving a problem. Securities there's no utility in a security. So, I think the SEC, I look forward to them clarifying some of these things. I thought them announcing that Ether was not a security was actually a positive thing for the industry for sure. And I look forward to, their further decision making. I think the SEC, I look forward to them clarifying some of these things. I look forward to, their further decision making.
We'll hear from Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler. This is his annual trip here, but he sometimes does that more often than we think.
Won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh.